See, now, admittedly, it's been a little while since I've seen The Lion King or Jungle Book or, any of those stories. But I don't really know how in the animal kingdom it works. Is it moose over bear, bear over moose? Either way, I think TNA might need to be investigated for animal cruelty, but it was a fun show. Let's talk about it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mark It Down podcast. I am James Gisanti, and on Thursday nights, you know what we do here. The Mark It Down podcast becomes the Gym Pack Zone because we cover all things TNA and Impact. It's an interesting show because we're gearing up for No Surrender tomorrow, which is, not one of their prime events, not one of their huge mega events, but it is an elevated show. It is, I don't know if they go by PLE, I don't know if they go by pay-per-view, but it is one of their bigger shows, and it was an all right go-home show. It was an okay show. First of all, hey Maria, how are you? Thank you for being here tonight. Hope you enjoyed Impact. I did. I know I did. It wasn't the best show. It definitely left me wanting. But what I watched, I enjoyed. I just felt like we needed more. You guys know the deal. When I'm here by myself, I have to do everything by myself. So that includes social media. And I'm doing my best. I'm not a Marines biologist. I don't know how to do everything on my own, but I'm trying. And it's not always easy. But I make do. But anyway, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed some of the matches. We didn't get many, but there was a through line. There was a what's the word I'm looking for here? There was a thread throughout the show, and I think it served the narrative pretty well. We had fallout over everything that's been going on with the system, with Moose being kicked out of the system post JDC's retirement. And now we have this new version of the system where it's Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and now Cedric Alexander and Bear Bronson. Now, beyond Moose, there's some other upheaval. We'll get to that in a second as well. But the show started with a good promo for Moose. I really liked it. It's funny because as I'm watching him coming down the ramp, getting ready to enter the ring and make his big entrance, the crowd loves him. The crowd is super into Moose, but there's a part of me that can just tell that he doesn't seem super comfortable as a babyface. I think he thrives as a heel, but it's fighting uphill because the crowd just wants to cheer him. So I get having him be the baby face here. It makes a lot of sense. I think in the grand scheme, it's the right move. But I loved his promo because it shows he's not the typical white meat, white bread baby face. He's got a little bit of an edge to him. He's not afraid to be tough. He says, I'm not going to come out here and complain about what's been going on with the system because I'm not a bitch. I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm not going to whine about it. I'm just going to do something about it. I'm the man who years ago built the system, and now I'm going to take it down. And what better way to do that than to team up with someone who has the blueprint for how to take out the system one member at a time, and he brings out the TNA World Champion, Mike Santana. Santana and Moose go back and forth a little bit about their history feuding, and Santana is the only person to have ever beaten every member of the system while feuding. They talk about how their feud definitely brought out the best in both of them and made them better and made them stronger. And at that point, Moose is then ready to bring out the Hardys, and it seemed like our main event was going to start right then and there when they are interrupted by Daria Ray, the new authority figure in TNA. She says this is her show, and it might have flown under stuff like that might have flown under Santino, but it's not going to fly with her. So she demands they get out of her ring and give us the main event as advertised. I don't really get Daria Ray's character. I get the idea that this is meant to play off Santino, who is going through a lot right now, character-wise, and I get she's meant to be the heel authority figure, but it just sort of feels like she's healing it up to heal it up. Not much is really making sense there. Either way, good way to get the show started, good energy, and a good way to hype up the main event for later. We then go backstage to Ryan Nemeth, who is preparing vigorously for his match, his Albuquerque street fight against Mara Sade. He's interrupted by the hardest working woman in TNA, Mean Gia Miller. She says that they were supposed to get together for an interview, but she never came by. He then goes on his shtick belittling our girl. I do not like it. I do not respect it and how he treats her. But that is a different subject for a different day. He goes on his shtick. He bitches. He tells her how it's not fair how often Mara Sade super kicks him. It shouldn't be right how often somebody gets super kicked the way he's been super kicked. But he is persevering. It's at this point he tells Gia to leave. She definitely mouths off back to him. It's funny, little back and forth. And that's another fun matchup to look forward to later tonight. We then go elsewhere backstage after what happened with Moose in the ring, where he's sitting down in the locker room and he is joined by Alicia Edwards, guys, the wife of Eddie Edwards, the man who betrayed Moose. She says how sorry she is for everything that happened, and she doesn't know what to do. She's basically been kicked out of the system herself for not automatically going with everything that Eddie and the rest of the group has done, and she's not sure how to proceed. She says her contract is almost up. She's not sure if she has a place in TNA anymore. As she's lamenting and getting ready to go, Moose stops her and says, look, you're like a sister to me. You've been the brains behind the system for as long as he can remember, and as long as she wants it, she's got a place by his side in his corner moving forward. Nice little segment. I can tell that the story here is where is Alicia gonna land? Is she gonna stay with her husband in this story? Is she gonna betray her husband, or is she gonna betray now, I guess, Moose? I don't know why we're doing this. Like, I know that they had established that Alicia was with Moose as a manager for a little while. She would accompany him to his matches. I just don't know why they're doing this. Alicia thrives as a heel, and why make us believe that there's strife between her and Eddie? Just lean into the relationship. You don't need much more of an explanation beyond that. Who am I going to choose? The guy I manage or the guy I'm married to? I don't know. It just seems a little silly to me. Just a wee bit silly. We then go to our first matchup of the night as we have a battle of two former world champions, Rich Swann and Nick Nemeth. I really feel for Swann because he was champion during an era where TNA hadn't quite come back yet. He was right at the cusp of it, in my opinion. I think we saw a lot of regrowth and a lot of renewed interest when Kenny Omega went to TNA and took the TNA title. Now, he took that title, the Impact title at the time, from Rich Swann. So Swann was literally, in my opinion, the last champion before we saw the start of the renaissance that is TNA. I am so happy for him for having gotten, things back on track in his personal life. And I'm hoping that reflects in his career. I think he's a great talent. I thought he was an admirable champion for TNA. And it would be nice to see him maybe one day win that world title again. It's not something I'm necessarily clawing for. It's not something that I'm necessarily clamoring for. But I do think it would be a fun revisit and a good I don't want to say Rocky story, but a good redemption story for this guy. So yeah, I'm rooting for him. And Nemeth is such a big part of when TNA really started to boom again. It was him and Hendry going for the title and his debut in TNA at a time where it felt like TNA was finally putting the pieces together to really build something up again. So both men have a lot to prove. Both men are in a situation where they can't really afford to lose. This was a fun matchup between two former WWE stars who I don't think ever actually wrestled each other in WWE. I'd actually be shocked if they did wrestle in WWE at any point, considering Cedric Keys later. Rich was in the cruiserweight division for basically the entirety of his WWE run. Nice back and forth. Nemeth's offense was really focused on Swan's head. Swan was, really pulling out the magic to get out of things. He got out of a danger zone really impressively. Both men going back and forth. The finish was a really, really, really fun finish, in my opinion. Both men were really fired up. Swan went for his handspring cutter. He bounced off the ropes. He flips and gets caught with a danger zone from Nick Nemeth. 1, 2, 3. The current Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, or at least one half of it, is the winner here. I thought this was a fun matchup. I thought both guys looked good. I don't really know where you slot Swan right now. Nemeth definitely needed to win more, as he's got something to prove with this gauntlet, with this trophy, with this title shot. But Swan needs some big wins to reestablish himself. He's coming off of the feud with AJ Francis. He needs to decide where he's going to go. And if he's going to try and vie for the world title at some point, he needs big wins. I could easily see him going after the X Division title at some point. He already did challenge Leon Slater. But, when you're that good and you're that talented, it makes sense to go where you fit in sometimes. So time will tell. We then go backstage as we have Indy Hartwell and Xia Brookside cut a promo talking about what's coming up at No Surrender. They are confident Lee will keep the Knockouts Championship at No Surrender. But as for them, they feel like they've earned a Knockouts Tag Team title shot, as both of them have pinned either Heather or M in the last couple of weeks. They're eager to beat up the Elegance brand. It's a fun little excitement between the two of them. I don't know what their chemistry is going to be like in the ring on that level, but it's good to see a different kind of team going for the Knockouts title. We've talked Knockouts tag title. We've talked about how barren the Knockouts division has been lately, and it certainly feels like they are regrouping and regrowing. But the Knockouts tag division is in desperate need of replenishing. So let's see if maybe these two have it. I'm going to go with the Elegance brand, though, unfortunately. Kayfabe, unfortunately. We then go elsewhere backstage. Lots of backstage promos tonight. As The Righteous cut a promo about tomorrow at No Surrender, where they will team up with the Hardys against Order 4. Vincent and Dutch talk about how they will lift up the Hardys and everything is going as it should. I don't like this. I just don't. I want to. It feels so hollow. It feels so hollow. I don't know if I don't know if I'm getting punked out that I should just automatically assume there's going to be not a turn, but a betrayal tomorrow where the Righteous betray the Hardys. And because I'm expecting it, we don't get it. I don't know. All I know is what could have been a very interesting, fun feud just feels kind of convoluted, kind of unnecessary in a lot of ways. And I feel bad. I've said it time and time again. I think the Righteous are a cool team. I like Vincent. I like Dutch. I think Dutch is a really interesting big man, and I think Vincent has a lot of charisma. But man, I don't know. I'm going to be bummed if the Righteous win the tag titles. Not because the Hardys lose it, just because I don't think this is the team to do it right now when there's just so little interest, it feels like. I don't think it's just a me thing, by the way. I don't think it's me being blinded by Hardy bias. I think just objectively, this doesn't feel like the team to do it. Anyway, we leave the backstage area to get back in the ring, but this time for sort of another promo, another segment, as Eric Young calls out BDE, everyone's second favorite YouTuber, myself being number one. Young tells us and says that he gave BDE the gift of time to decide if he will join the cleanse in TNA. BDE comes out and Young admits, he says it, and I kind of like this part. He says, I don't understand your popularity. I don't understand you. I don't understand what makes you you. I don't understand why these people react to you, but I recognize it. And that reach, though, it will be very useful to get out the truth, Young's truth about this cleansing. Young asked BDE if he loved anything so much that he'd be willing to be the bad guy and do the unthinkable. To that, BDE responds saying that TNA has its game. He's right. That Eric Young is right. TNA has its games. It's politics. It's backstabbing. But he won't let anyone else decide his truth. His answer is hell no. Hell no. Not team hell no. Just hell no. At that point, Young just loses it and attacks BDE, punches him. Referees try coming in to prevent a pile driver, but Young hits it anyway. He then goes for a second pile driver before security is able to really stop him. It's at this point, Young starts just going after security and referees, pile drives a security guard. And it was really funny that Young goes to the outside. He's just selling how mad he is, how crazy he is. Takes off his shirt, getting ravenous. And he gets in the face of a female fan who just will not back down from him. And I loved it. It was so funny. It was so cool. And it's one of those things that like you could tell Young was kind of playing along with it too in a fun way, in a nice way. So just a personal note, I thought that was a fun bit. And I believe we are getting Young versus. Oh, well, we'll get to that next bit right now as we go backstage. Eric Young is being dragged out by security. He's getting thrown out of the building. It's at this point Santino Marella, the director of Authority, goes to Young and tries to suspend him, but he is interrupted by Daria Ray, who overrules him. Says that she received orders from someone way above Santino that Young is needed for a match against BDE tomorrow at No Surrender. It's at this point Daria just kind of threatens Santino and tells him to stop making irrational decisions. I know that Young and Santino have a bit of a feud and kind of a heated history, but Daria Ray she's really making me not like her. Kayfabe, maybe. I don't know. But really not appreciating how Daria Ray is treating Santino. We had a nice Ash by Elegance vignette, just talking about what she's been through, having, I think this was hyping up their YouTube documentary series thing that they did. Like they had another one for Dongo later too. But either way, it was just nice to see some recognition of everything Ash by Elegance has been through. We then head over to our Albuquerque street fight, Ryan Nemeth versus Marishade. This match, right from the get-go, right from basically the bell to bell, was just full of action, full of these two just having fun, attacking each other. I've been very upfront. I did not enjoy that first matchup that they had. I thought it was booked very poorly. I thought it was very kind of icky. I'm an adult, but I cannot think of a better word than icky to describe it. And I've enjoyed the feud enough. I just didn't like how that match was booked. So I was interested and intrigued by what this match could be. And I think it delivered. And I need to reiterate, I don't think an intergender match, I don't think its success is defined by the gender that wins it. I don't think it always needs to be one or the other. I don't think it needs to be a man that needs to win it for it to be good. I don't think it needs to be a woman that wins it for it to be good. I just think the booking needs to make sense and not make me feel icky if a man does beat a woman in one of these matches, where it doesn't just feel like what was the point in the match? there was a lot of brawling between the two. A high spot came when they brought out that black velvet bag, and instead of thumbtacks, instead of glass, instead of anything else, it was a bunch of lollipops. Mara Sade lollipops. I thought it was a fun bit. She dumps it on the side of the ring and then suplexes Nemeth on the floor on top of the lollipops. Just a gnarly, funny bit. At this point, Sade grabs a kendo stick, tries to whack Nemeth, and then she hits a Russian leg sweep with the kendo and almost choked Nemeth out with it. Nemeth then muscles out to put Sade face first into the mat or head first into the mat, and he goes to the top rope, getting ready to, I guess, drop onto her, but Sade is able to shoot up, hit him in the ropes. She's able to like groin him on the ropes and pull him down. She then hits a super kick, 1, 2, 3. Mara Sade gets her revenge and beats Ryan Nemeth. After the match, she rips off his mocking women's wrestling shirt, wipes her face with it, dries off her sweat with it. I thought it was a funny bit. And hopefully this feud is done. Sade desperately needs to go back to the women's division, who needs as many bodies as possible. And Nemeth can be used. He was used well here, I think, overall, but I think he could be used better in other places. So fun little feud. Glad that it's over. We then had an Elijah and Mustafa Ali hype package setting up for their coffin casket match, guitar case casket match. I don't know. Very excited for these two. I think this feud has been very under the radar, fun, but it's going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to be a very, very good matchup. And I've been saying, I feel like Elijah's due for that team up with the Righteous sooner than later. Maybe tomorrow what does it. We'll see. We have a backstage promo from two faces that we haven't really seen prominently since TNA has been on AMC, but Mance Warner and his wife, Steph DeLander. Steph reintroduces themselves to the new audience on AMC, and this gives Mance, I guess, I don't think his first real promo time, but Steph definitely allows him to get some more words in than usual. Mance says that he likes to fight, bleed, and walk through people on his way. DeLander says that she is the beauty next to her beast. Mance says that the locker room, the TNA locker room, is like a family. That's all well and done, but family doesn't pay Mance's bills. Violence does. And then the two, I think, I don't know if they made out or not, but I'm going to headcanon it that they did. And I am rooting for them. I'm a big fan of Steph DeLander. I don't think I fully get what Mance Warner is. I think there's a lot of conflicting things about his gimmick and his character, but he's a good worker. He represents something a little different in TNA. So the more the merrier. I'm excited to see how he could be used to the fullest in TNA. We then have a backstage segment with Ariana Grace and her father, Santino, where she can't believe it. She thanks Santino for making the title match for her, the Knockouts title match for her at No Surrender, where she will be challenging Lei Ying Lee. She hugs her dad and then reveals that, like, she stole the Cobra from him. Like, she has the Cobra sock, like, arm sleeve thing. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts if that's the title that changes hands. Like, I know we were all very much on board for Zarya and Solaruka to take the Knockouts tag titles off of the Elegance brand. It's the rare instance where I'm okay with an NXT talent or talents taking a TNA title. I don't know how I'm going to feel about Grace taking the Knockouts title from Lei Ying Lee, but we shall see. We then go to our main event, which, let me tell you, had a lot of time, like a shocking amount of time for an Impact episode. We basically went to this main event with like a half hour left of TV time. This was definitely a long match. I think everybody got their spots in. Like I said going earlier, Alicia Edwards was actually with Moose for this. She came out to accompany him, and there was a vibe for the story of whose side is Alicia on. At one point, though, Myers tries to cheat and use one of the tag belts while the ref isn't looking, and Alicia stopped him. She pulls the belt away. So I guess we're leaning towards her staying babyface with Moose, but it just I am mentally and emotionally prepared. This is not going to last. Eventually, as we get further down, Moose, Santana, Edwards, and Myers were all involved with like a big pile dive on the outside, all bodies on the floor. The Hardys double team Bronson, where they hit their tag finisher, that twist of fate into the neck breaker. I forget what it's called. Somebody remind me because I can't think of it off the top of my head. Jeff then goes to the top rope to hit a swanton, but he's crotched and he lands on his crotch by Cedric Alexander. Cedric and Matt then fight on the outside, and Bronson just grabs Jeff and hits him with a massive pile driver, like an over-the-shoulder pile driver. I don't know if it's a bonsai drop or whatever it may be, but he got Jeff 1, 2, 3, and this is the new system. As somebody who just recently watched Bear Bronson in a local indie show going for the GCW title, I'm happy for him. The guy seems to be working really hard to reestablish himself. We can all agree it certainly felt like he had gotten done dirty in AEW and Ring of Honor, given what happened with his tag team partner. It sort of felt like he was suffering consequences for something he didn't really have anything to do with. But this new lease on life, this new lease on his career is very anticipated, very exciting. And I think it's a huge win for him to get over Jeff Hardy. I know a lot of people don't understand the Hardys' appeal or the Hardys' value in 2026, but my God, are they still so freaking popular and so useful to TNA. So big win over Jeff Hardy of all people for Bear Bronson. And now we see this new system is going to be possibly just as dominant as the old system. All you needed was a bear to replace a moose, I suppose. But guys, this was TNA. This was Impact. I'm sorry, like this was a quick one for us. We're not even at the half-hour mark. If I finish under 30 minutes, I maybe get a pizza party. But I thought the show was fine. I thought the show was good at parts. The main event, while long, was good. The street fight was a lot of fun. I was happy to see Swan versus Nemeth. I think we could have had a little bit more of the Knockouts presence on the show. I think that was probably the biggest falter of the show. But other than that, a solid show as we go into a big event tomorrow for No Surrender. But guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us this Thursday evening or now Friday morning. You know the deal. If you're one of our regulars, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with us. If you're new and you're just watching us now for the first time, don't know what brought you here, but we appreciate it. Stick around, hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, whether you're old or new, hit the like button. We have a lot of fun here. We cover all the major shows, all the major companies, WWE, AEW, TNA. For the big stuff, we cover New Japan and Ring of Honor and other companies. But it's been a good time. We've grown a lot in a very short amount of time. We've seen some really big boosts, and it's all because of you guys, and we really appreciate it. You know the deal. If we're not just here, we're all over social media: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. Blue Sky. Maybe there's one other. I don't know. I'm tired and I'm old. Don't have the best memory. But go check us out on all those platforms. Like us, follow us, love us. We really love you. And we will see you guys. I'm going to do my best to cover No Surrender tomorrow. No promises. Life is lifing pretty hard right now, so I don't know what my availability will be. We will be back on the regular schedule next week. And Friday, Rev, myself, and some other members of the pod maybe are going to be at House of Glory, which will have MJF, Andrade, and Private Party. So we're going to do some covering of that too. Guys, we love you. We really love you. I'm James Gisanti. This is the Mark It Down podcast. I am very tired. Have a good one, everybody. As always, watch wrestling and, of course, watch TNA. Bye.